Om. Om. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram यो अन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् समचरणसरोजम् सान्द्रनीलाम्बुदाभम् जघननिहितपाणिनि वन्दनं वन्दनानाम् करुणतुलसीमालां कन्धरं कञ्जनेत्रं सदयधवलहासं विठ्ठलं चिन्तयामि विठ्ठलं चिन्तयामि. Pranams to the Lord. Pranams to all the Mahatmas in tonight's reading of Eknathi Bhagawat section. We have completed first 10 chapters successfully by His Kripa. Today we are starting on the 11th chapter. Let's start. If you're having the book, it's on page 474. PDF number. Chapter 11. Om. Salutations to the Lord Ganesha. Om. Salutations to the Lord Shri Krishna. OV1. Om. Salutations to Sadguru, who is the solidified truth and energy. He showers upon all like cloud of self-bliss. The families and groups of the seekers then dance with joy as the peacocks in the rain jump and fly in ecstasy. 2. Seeing that cloud full, they mew like peacocks with the sound of so hum, open up their feathers of goose pimples and start dancing with the sattva quality. 3. They dance in the bliss of self, and eyes are manifest on their entire body, and these are like eyes which, being very beautiful, the Lord Shri Krishna puts in his crown. 4. Looking at the cloud, the Guru in front of them, the forlorn seekers who are like the birds Chataka, open up their mouths as soon as the drop of nectar like advice falls in their mouth. They become happy and permanently flawless. 5. The thirst of those seekers is readily satisfied, and they become satisfied with the water of self-bliss, and they celebrate festivities of happiness and bliss. OV6. Those clouds pour rain of benediction after selecting a good fertile soil and a good auspicious time. When this heavy shower takes place, every place is inundated by waves of water. 7. By that shower of Guru's grace, the river called disciple is overflowing, and all the dirt of doubts is swept away in that state. OV8. When the river, being cleansed by itself, reaches the sea of spiritual energy and mingling it with it, becomes still in the waters of the sea of Atman. OV9. The soil is properly scorched by burning on it the leaves, etc., of desirelessness. That soil is itself humidified and softened by virtues. When there is constant rain of grace of the Guru, it becomes very muddy, but there are no rank vegetations and marsh grass there. 10. By constant rain, the hard lumps of earth are broken, the dampness of the good faith increases, and vapor of self-knowledge begins to be emitted from the soil. 11. Without sowing the seed of Atman, many sprouts come up, and the field is full of joyful crop, the grains in it being solid naturally. 12. By nourishment, received due to the divine grace, the corns of equalizing vision become well fed. Then by men, there is unity between the soul and the overself, Jiva and Shiva. 13. The famine of sorrow and misery is long back finished, and the festival time of happiness is at hand. When the cloud of grace begins to pour the rain of blessings, there is a high tide of joy in the minds of worthy disciples. 14. When there is rain of self-knowledge, there is also a hailstorm of various divine incarnations. They take forms suitable for the planned activities and at last dissolve in the formless totality. 15. If some water of the rain is by luck sprinkled on a simple ignorant soul, and if even a drop of that self-knowledge falls in the mouth of that simple soul, he becomes honored in the group of saints. 16. The person on whom the great clouds, which is Sadguru or Srihari, showers his blessings, becomes famous and honored with the gods as well as men. 17. The word Guru has a meaning that the thing is very heavy. But this Guru is so strong and light that he himself goes beyond the ocean of the worldly life and helps his disciples to do so. His limits cannot be known clearly by the Vedas also. 18. Sri Janardana, my Sadguru, who is a cloud of joy, has ended my separate unitary consciousness as Jiva and has thus purified me. 19. Further, by giving me the knowledge of Atman, he has definitely taught me that what is one is the many, and also the many are one. 20. He taught me to be one with him, and through that knowledge, he made me capable of walking some steps on the path of devotion, in order that, in other terms, I should write in his place. He gave me orders to comment upon the Bhagavad Purana. 21. In that Bhagavata, at the end of the 10th chapter, Uddhava has asked the Lord Sri Krishna about the signs of persons who are free and persons who are in bondage. 22. The question of Uddhava was quite deep and was related to difficult subject. Having listened to that question, now the Lord Sri Krishna is going to tell the secret knowledge from the innermost recesses of his heart. 22. Eknath says, if you listen to these questions and answers, the life and death will be usurped from their throne. The account book of mundane life will be torn, and the credit and debit of various objects will be closed. 24. The pilgrims on the path of liberation who have suffered tremendously by undertaking various hard penances should come here and join us quickly in order to be used in the tug of war between the bondage and freedom. 25. Further, they should also come to the path of devotion. If they have up to now executed the penances and the vows, bothered about meditation and the aims, so that they can dissolve both the knowledge and the ignorance by one single way of devotion. 26. This story is very complex and deep, and the listener should be very attentive. I, Eknath, say that today the Guru Janardana, whose very heavy cloud of self-bliss, has been pleased. 27. In this 11th chapter, the Lord Shri Krishna will tell the difference between the person who is bound and the person who is free from all attachments. He will also tell about the salient virtues of the sage. 28. In that narration, there will be the details of various characteristics of devotion and the 11 main places where God can be worshipped. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Baddho Mukta iti Vyakhya Gunato Mena Vastutaha Gunasya Maya Mulatvat Name Moksho Na Bandhanam. Meaning of the verse. The Lord said, the bondage of the freedom is not actual for me, but it is according to the gunas. And as gunas belong to Maya, there is neither liberation nor bondage for me. 29. O Uddhava, you may say that the state of bondage and the state of liberty are real, but no, these states are not at all real. How? I shall tell you now. 30. Actually, in me, there are no such states of bondage or freedom. It is all the effect of the action of gunas, and they are not related to me. 31. In my own atmic nature, there is no bondage and no freedom. By the action of gunas, the gunas seem to be bound or to be free. 32. Gunas are within Maya, and I am totally distinct from Maya. If at all unreal can nullify the real, then we can say that people get drowned in the elusive waters of mirage. 33. If by the fire painted in the picture, towns will be burnt or people will have monetary transaction exchanging the heap of money seen in a dream. 34. Or if the reflection of the sun would swallow the sun, or if shadow would tie a man, or the sea will be sunk in the mirage, then only by the three gunas I could be bound. 35. If the tongue would have hair, if trees would grow on the palm, if a mountain would go into an eye, only then I would be bound by the gunas. 36. If sky would be hidden in a bag, if ointment would be applied to the forehead of the wind, or if people can tie wedding decoration of the bridegroom on the head of the lightning. 37. Or the sky will fall into the sea, or the earth together with mountains would be blown away by the wind. And if the sun would stumble while walking in the darkness, then only I could be caught in the gunas. 38. Suppose there is a lake up in the sky, and there are many lotus flowers in it, the fragrance of which flowers is enjoyed by the beetles. When this will really happen, 39, then only the Atman will enjoy various pleasures from the objects of the senses to the three gunas, and then, being addicted to them, will be tied by gunas. 40. If a man starts acting according to the provocations of gunas, he becomes identified with the activities of those gunas, and the person experiences the delusion that is either bound or he is free, which is not real. 41. Now you will say that though we accept that Atman is different from the gunas, it is natural that if Atman is functioning within the gunas, he will be suffering from their modifications and vikaras. 42. But my dear, consider one example. By contact with fire, a pot becomes hot. Water boils by contact with the hot pot, and in the hot water rises boil. Similarly, Atman does not get any modifications by guna, just as the fire, which is the root cause, is distinct and unaffected. 43. Also, please consider that the sky does not become hot due to fire. Similarly, Atman is not modified, though it is seen with the gunas. 44. An actor acts out the role of a blind man, but he is personally not blind. Similarly, though Atman is seen to be functioning with the gunas, he is eternally beyond forms and qualities. 45. The actor does not become blind, though he acts like a blind man. Similarly, Atman is not bound by gunas. This is because the gunas are the qualities of Maya, while Atman is really pure. The gunas and the Atman have no relationship with each other. 46. Atman is vast and gunas are limited by nature. From that point of view, also Atman cannot be bound. How can a small jar drink the whole sea? 47. If mustard seed can contain the Mount Meru in it, if in a fist the whole earth can be held, if an ant can swallow the elephant, and if a small firefly can eat the sun, 48, if a housefly can carry the universe in its hand, if a moth can gulp the wildfire, then only Atman can be tied in the bunch prepared from gunas. 49. So, it is absolutely impossible that Atman can become bound, and when bondage disappears, the sense of freedom also disappears. So, I as Atman am really beyond the states of bondage or freedom. 50. If there is a man who is very pious or a villain in the dream, he does not remain so in the waking state. Similarly, in the Atman, the state of freedom or bondage have no place. They are unreal. 51. So, it is not true that Jiva is bound. I am Paramatman. Then how can I become bound or free? 52. For example, in the face of man and in the reflection of that face in the mirror, no dirt exists. But the surface of the mirror has the dirt, which creates an impression that the man's face and the reflection have that dirt. 53. If that dirt is to be removed, it is the mirror which needs cleaning, and you have not to rub the reflection on any grinding stone. It will be absurd. 54. Similarly, there is no defect in the Jiva or Shiva. The defect is in the mind. And if that mind is purified, then both the bondage and the freedom are given a send off. 55. Similarly, all the defects which arise due to the activities of the gunas are belonging to ignorance. But foolish people, using their crude intellect, think that these defects belong to the Jiva. 56. When the defects so far developed are withered away by the power of Sattva, the defects caused by ignorance disappear, and ignorance itself becomes pure wisdom, and Jiva does not remain Jiva, but it becomes Shiva, the cosmic God. 57. When both the names, that is Jiva and Shiva, become united in me, then nothing except myself alone exists in the universe, either in the human kingdom or in other kingdoms. 58. If I am looked at as Jiva, then I am Jiva. And if I am conceived as Shiva, then I am Shiva. Really, I am not one and I am not many. There is no other to experience me. I am my own experience as well as the experiencer. 59. Here, you may raise a doubt that if you say that you are everything that is Jiva and Shiva, then why is it that only Shuka and Vamadeva are declared to be free? Why are others called Jada, bound Jivas? 60. If you are self-Jiva, if you are yourself Jiva also, then why is this discrepant division? The free state of Shuka and Vamadeva is declared to be valid by the Vedas. 61. Your statement, therefore, seems to be contradictory to the Vedas, which are accepted as the highest standard of knowledge. If you argue like this, 62, I will say that it is all right. What Vedas say is truth. But mind you, Vedas are called to be my breath, while what I say now is in my waking consciousness. So, why are you objecting to it? 63. You seem to be really overwise because you are telling me that my talk is wrong, while I am the God who directs the Vedas to speak. 64. Vedas have three subjects, which are ritualistic actions, the action contained in Upasana in search for the God, and the third division is the consideration of the importance of knowledge. A person who is atheist takes the support of the statements of the Vedas and puts forward faulty but attractive argument. 65. It is a fact that there are many opinions and contradictory doctrines which develop from Vedas, but Veda is nothing but indirect description of me and not experience itself. How can that description create an inner understanding of philosophical truth? 66. The knowledge presented and manifest in words and the actual knowledge of Brahman appear outwardly to be equal. For example, the measure of 1 gram and gold weighing 1 gram are of equal weight. 67. But the measure of 1 gram is not valuable as the gold of that weight. And similarly, the arguments in Vedas are not equal to the actual experience of Brahman. 68. You are not accepting my statement, though I am honored by all the gods. This is simply pride of your knowledge. You should drop even this pride. 69. Take it from me that what I say is the final truth and the only truth. Then only your spiritual aspiration will be fulfilled. My word is the word of Brahman. 70. Oh, Dhava, from my point of view, there is no difference between any man in bondage, or Vasishtha, or Van and Vamadeva, etc., who are supposed to be free. 71. From the point of view of persons who are free, the whole nature is free. They do not see any bondage anywhere, so distinct mention of Shuka or Vamadeva has no place there. 72. I am Paramatman. the total spiritual energy. Now, if you say that Jiva is in bondage, that also is not a fact. Shokamo sukham dukkham deha patischa mayaya swapno yathatmanah khyatihi samsrutir natu vastavi. Meaning of the verse. By the force of Maya, there is sorrow, enticement, pleasure, and pain, and the birth of a man in his body. The word is as unreal as our experience in the world, actually. Again, sorry, there's a typo. The world is as unreal as our experience in the dream. 73. Dream is of a short period, but in that duration, a man experiences that he has taken many births in many kingdoms of nature. As that is unreal, so is the perception of this worldly existence unreal. 74. This false appearance is dissolved immediately, and in the body there is great havoc. When people say, "Gone, I'm dead," no, etc., that is the sorrow. 75. There is a pot which is slightly having a hole. There is a reflection of moon. 76 in it. A child thinks that it is shining diamond and picks up the pot. What happens? Water in the pot oozes out with the reflection of the moon. The child begins to cry. That is sorrow. I think we can pause over there. Or maybe I'll just write that. 77. Or otherwise, when the child tries to hold that reflection of the moon in his hand, it is not possible. When the child begins to cry, that is called sorrow. 78. When a man begins to break the mirror in order to catch the reflection in his hand, the mirror breaks, and the man thinks that he is dead. That is sorrow. So I think we'll pause at 78. And then from there, we'll take tomorrow from 79. Beautiful start of the chapter 11. So now we can expect what chapter 11. So it is, I think, Maharaja's style to, you know, to put what is impossible. And he has these examples. So that I found very catchy. We are not able to produce such kind of impossible things. If this is possible, like, okay, the water in the mirage can probably wet the garden, or, all those things. Like when he gives the impossible ideas and then say that is not possible, then how this is. If that is possible, then Brahman, you can say this is separate, that is separate. So I love Maharaja's style, and he has done this in previous chapters also, to produce examples of unimaginable non-happenings. They are never going to happen. They've never happened. So to bring out, and he has brought down, that means to our level, that he would understand that this is never going to happen. Then, so he has brought down to that level. That I love his style. And as always, when he starts, the way he attributes to Guru. And today's readings were amazing when he has given the similes that what is Guru and what Guru shares that bliss to the rain and to the peacock dance, and how that shower is. So that description was very attractive. I felt that was a unique start. Though the start is same as how he attributes to Guru, but the unique start was the comparisons of. Oh, I had my connection again. I got one lesson. Am I audible now? I think so. It should be audible, right? Okay, yeah. The screen code. So I felt that was a very beautiful start and felt unique with this. And this tug of war between the bondage and the freedom of who is bound and who is not bound, where we are sitting, and we attribute it to ourselves. So again, this knowledge, that ignorance, and we take it ourselves as we, the body, and we, how number of times so many different texts have said that we are not the body, but immediately our correlation comes with our. Am I audible? Everybody's camera is person.
No, you were just again little bit. It was shaking.
Okay, yeah.
Now and then, I think.
Yes, because it's raining also outside. So I felt, yeah, this chapter, the start itself is amazing, beautiful. Okay. So anybody wants to add any other thing, please, your points or please.
It says in 54 that there is no defect in the jiva or the shiva. It's all in the mind. And I think that's what all our scriptures keep saying it, isn't it? That if the mind is purified, there is no bondage. So even the waking world is not real.
Yes.
I mean, it comes later on.
It's also a beautiful thing.
Just like how the dream is not real. But it
Like
seems very real for us anyway, the waking world.
Yes.
I had a question in the second OV. He talks about soham. What does soham mean actually?
So, so in Sanskrit, it will be split as so, avagraha, ham. So that means when we open up the sandhi, it will be saha aham. So saha means that which is that truth is me. So it is that statement like tatvamasi. Tatvamasi when Guru says, and saha aham, that truth I am. So in Sanskrit, we'll write so, avagraha chinna S and ham. So our breath, when we take in and out, so that's so hum, that sound. So that's why most of the meditations people ask to do it on the breath. I think again I had gone in between. So what I said in between was so hum. So in our breath it lies. So many meditations are done on the Soham meditation. That I am that, Saha, Aham, I, Saha, that. You have in Sanskrit, na? Eshaha, Eshaha, and Saha. So that Saha is that which is far. That I am. What's that? So very beautiful. So whenever we take a deep breath, if that awareness comes, we'll hear our own breath sound as Saha. We are always chanting Saha, Saha, Aham, Saha, Aham. So whenever.
So these stories that are brought up in OV48, the ants and the ant being able to swallow an elephant and all, are they stories in our mythology, in our history, or they're just examples here?
He
Are they
has
real,
given
like
those
Gajendra
examples.
Moksha?
He is giving those examples. That's what I'm saying. How he thinks of those examples. That is his unique style. We won't be able to say this impossible thing. Can the housefly carry the universe? How it is possible? It's not possible. So if that much is not possible, then this bondage is also not possible, he's trying to say. So he's brought it at our level that we clearly understand that this something, we might say that, oh, Maharaj is talking something weird. We felt it because we have that conviction that this is not possible. So he got to us thinking that this is not possible, this we understand. And then he's telling the higher, that is also not possible, that Atman is bound. If ant cannot do this.
Having said that, the opposite is, I mean, I don't know, Vedanta has its conundrums also, because when you think of all the examples in the Gita, it says, I'm in you, you are in me, but I'm not in you. And it also gives you impossible things that, even in the Bible, they have the story of David and Goliath. Even the smallest thing can defeat a big thing. So I feel the opposite is also true, right? I mean, I know what it is in this context, but I feel the opposite also applies sometimes. Impossible also becomes possible.
Like, what is opposite would be true? What you would like to say?
Like we always hear of, in the Bible, for example, there's a famous story of the David and Goliath, right? You know, a guy who with one of those, those, what do you call it? The stone
Sling.
and the thing was able to defeat,
Sling.
defeat a big monster. Yeah. Sling. Um, and then even when you think of the Mahabharata, Krishna was and the Pandavas who had a smaller army and they defeated the Kauravas. So we think of there are many examples uh, where things which are impossible or small things uh, actually uh, actually win over the big, right? Even in the story of Vaman, it's a small little man, and then his foot goes on the whole earth and the thing. So what I meant to say is, I mean, I understand the context of these examples and these stories here and the argument, but I just feel that the opposite also holds true in
I asked that question, like, what you mean opposite would be true? Means what? Hmm.
like this, that maybe an ant can also swallow an elephant by magic. I don't know, by the power of God.
Okay, like that. Hmm. Okay.
I mean, and
So, huh. Okay. So then how we will have to answer to that to our
in
mind is,
Hanuman, in Hanuman, in stories, hmm, in
huh,
Hanuman, the stories are like, I find the stories of Hanuman beautiful, right? Like with devotion, how he can shrink to so little, how he can expand to so big, right? I mean, of course, it's, it's metaphorical of the ego, right? Of how you can think. But
hmm.
uh, we have those examples in our scriptures with devotions. I know this context, but I just feel that the opposite is also true. It's not
So,
impossible in my headspace. I don't know.
so what I wanted to say over there, like if we take Hanuman's example, so much Vanar Sena is there. All are not Hanuman. All are Vanaras, you know. So who is a Hanuman? The one who has surrendered completely to Paramatma.
Yeah.
So one can be any negligible ant also. But if that ant has that surrendered buddhi, then ant will gain that vision. It is to be thought in that angle. As long as even like Ravana, who is all powerful, who is so knowledgeable, who is such a Shiva Bhakta, everything is plus on his side, right? Oh, with his great tapas, he's got such great boons. What all he did. He is such a master of music and Sanskrit and the Jata Kata Sambrahma. When we hear itself, that stotra, we feel such power. So, such a brilliant person, huh? There should be nothing less than moksha, correct? When you are such knowledgeable and such brilliant, you have experienced such richness, and Vike Soni ki Lanka means nobody has, his whole kingdom was full of gold. He made that, everything he has. Then that one weakness, no? To to have a lust that washed up everything. So the knowledge, he didn't put it in the right sense, and that knowledge didn't culminate, and he went for the lust. Otherwise, with his knowledge, he would have been the greatest. So one defect can bring us down in spite of whatever, however all powerful, greatest devotion, greatest tapasvi, greatest, he's learned Vedas, he knows everything, but his direction went in the wrong direction. So having everything also is reduced to nothing, and a nothing can be reduced to by expanded to everything. So the bottom line, we should not forget that we have to have a dharmic view throughout. That fall could be from a very subtle thing, that gap will be so big, and we will just in that crevice we will get, you know, like how deep in a rabbit's hole, we'll just go falling in deep and deep. So such examples come to us to uplift and hold on the right direction and expand our knowledge to hold it. I hope I have answered it's possible.
So, yeah, I also like, I mean, firstly, I think this entire reading was dedicated to you, Varsha. So much abundance in you and so much love you share with all of us and so much commitment. And you're really metaphorical of the rain for a parched earth, right? I mean, at least for me, and I'm sure all of us here, but you opened up a huge reservoir of growth in me, and through difficult times in life, and I just feel very, very happy that somehow through all um, the how should I say, the straying and the push and the pull and the lack of consistency and yet so on. I keep trying to chug along, and I feel the difference inside me, and I feel I'm coming out on the other side. I feel happier. I feel I just feel I feel more and more that I'm taken care of and that I don't need to worry. So that is a big shift for me. And I'm feeling more and more like how I was in my childhood, right? I was a happy person, and I feel I went through just so much unnecessary sorrow. I mean, of course, there were real incidents in life, but I think again, it is a play of the gunas, right? Too, with Maya. Um, so that I really felt that the entire reading today was meant for you. It was really meant for you.
It's your bhav, but all of us are in the same boat. And somewhere something God touches, brings in different ways. So it is all His doing. And then we all are trying to grow up in darkness and towards the light we are going. So all in the same boat. Okay. Any
And
other
I love the example of the sky that does not get hot. Every time now I think when I'm going to look up at the sun, I'm going to remember that the sun gives this blazing sunshine to all of us, and we're so dependent on it. But the sky is this cool blue and just so unperturbed, right, with that heat. It's such a beautiful example.
Yes, and with the
That
rain,
we
it
can.
will not get wet. With the sun, it will not get heated. So that chapter 2. And that's why correlation with the Atman is done with sky. When then we get that chapter. Enam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati kavati. The fire doesn't burn it. That's it. Vedante apaha. Water cannot moisten. Nashoshayati bharat. Wind cannot dry it. And that's why Akasha's example comes closer when describing Atman. Because something which is perceivable we can perceive, we can take that example and go to reach something which is not perceived.
And yet the sky is a non-existent entity. It's actually just space. There's no sky, real sky. There's nothing there. It's just space.
Who wants to do tomorrow's reading?
I can, if no one's volunteering.
Okay. So you will start from 79. Okay.
Yeah.
Wednesday. Thursday?
Thursday I can do.
Oh, so this week we are settled, then next we'll figure out.
Yeah.
Okay. Monday, anybody wants to start? Sri Hariji, Monday?
Yes.
Okay. Right. Then we will discuss further next. Let's end today's session. We have almost reaching 10:25. One more kid is going to come at this time for this. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Hari Om everyone. Thank you for joining. Let's dive in chapter 11.
Thank you, Akshaji. Hari Om.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Thank you, Varshaji.
Thank you, Ji. Hari Om.
Hari Om.